Have you ever experienced a moment where you forget why you walked into a room, even though you were fully sure just seconds ago? One step forward, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank, as if the thought never existed. This strange mental reset happens to almost everyone, yet it still feels confusing every single time. Many people immediately assume it is memory loss or something going wrong inside the brain. In today's video, we shall guide you through what is really happening inside your mind during these moments. You will discover why this forgetting moment is actually a normal brain process and not a sign of damage or decline. Let's get started. 1. The doorway moment phenomenon. This experience is widely known as the doorway effect, and it is one of the most common everyday memory quirks. It happens when you're focused on a task, then move from one room to another, and suddenly lose track of what you were about to do. The strange part is how quickly it happens. You feel confident in your intention, take a few steps, and then your mind suddenly feels empty, as if the thought was never there. Many people worry at this moment and assume something is wrong with memory or attention. But research shows this is a normal function of how the brain organizes information. Your brain does not store thoughts as one continuous stream. Instead, it breaks experience into small segments based on time, place, and activity. This helps it manage daily life more efficiently. When you enter a new room, your brain treats it as a new event. This shift creates what scientists call an event boundary. The previous thought is not erased, but it is pushed into the background of working memory. Because attention has already shifted to the new environment, it becomes harder to retrieve the earlier intention. That is why the memory feels lost even though it still exists. The key point is simple. This is not a failure of memory. It is a normal and efficient system your brain uses to stay organized in everyday life. 2. How your brain builds scenes. Your brain constantly works like a movie editor, cutting your life into meaningful segments instead of storing everything as one continuous flow. Rather than recording your entire day as a single uninterrupted video, it organizes experiences into separate scenes. Each scene carries its own setting, emotional tone, focus, and purpose. This helps your mind stay efficient because it does not need to process every second of life as one long stream of information. For example, your bedroom is strongly linked to rest, sleep, and personal space. Your kitchen is associated with food preparation, eating routines, and daily household activity. Your office or study space is connected to concentration, planning, and mental effort. Even hallways, living rooms, or outdoor spaces each carry their own mental meaning. When you move between these places, your brain instantly recognizes a change and shifts into a different mental mode. This system is extremely useful because it allows quick adaptation. You do not need to rethink your behavior every time you enter a new space. Your brain already knows what kind of actions belong in each environment, almost like switching roles in a script without conscious effort. However, this same efficiency creates small gaps in memory. When one scene ends and another begins, your attention gets briefly redirected. If your intention was still forming or not strongly focused, it may not fully carry over into the next scene. That is where the lost thought feeling begins. This is why walking through a doorway can feel like a mental reset. The important point is that your brain is not deleting or losing information. Instead, it is simply transitioning between organized mental chapters, prioritizing a new environment while temporarily lowering access to the previous one. 3. The location shift effect. Even small changes in location can affect how well you remember something. Your brain uses physical surroundings as memory cues. These cues help you remember what you were doing and where your attention was directed. When you stay in one room, your environment remains stable. Your brain can easily hold on to your thoughts because nothing around you has changed. But the moment you move, your brain starts processing new visual, sensory, and spatial information. This shift creates what scientists call a context change. In simple terms, your brain switches focus from one environment to another. That switch can weaken your connection to the previous thought for a short time. This is why forgetting often happens during movement rather than while sitting still. It is not the thought itself that disappears. It is the link between the thought and the environment that becomes temporarily weaker. Interestingly, this effect is not limited to physical movement. Even switching apps on your phone, Opening a new browser tab or changing tasks at work can create a similar mental reset. Your brain treats each shift as a new context, even if you are still doing related work. 4. Why memory gets interrupted. Memory is not a single storage system. It depends heavily on attention. If your attention is not fully locked onto a thought at the moment you create it, that thought becomes fragile. When you decide to walk into another room, your brain begins preparing for the next task almost immediately. It shifts attention toward the new environment even before you arrive. This creates a split between your original intention and your current focus. That split is where forgetting happens. Your brain has not finished processing the first thought, but it is already engaging with new sensory input. Because attention is divided, the original intention does not stay active in working memory. Most of the time, what you forget is not important long-term information. It is usually a short-term intention like get water, grab phone, or open the drawer. These are known as prospective memories, which are very sensitive to distraction. This does not mean your memory system is weak. It means it is optimized for efficiency, not perfection. It prioritizes what is happening now over what you intended a few seconds ago. 5. Cognitive overload and distraction. Another major reason for this experience is mental overload. Your brain can only hold a limited number of active thoughts at one time. When too many thoughts compete for attention, clarity begins to drop. Modern life increases this problem significantly. Many people are thinking about work, messages, plans, worries, and background tasks all at once. In this state, your brain is already partially overloaded before you even move. When you then stand up and walk into another room, that small transition becomes enough to disrupt your fragile focus. Your attention shifts again, and the original thought is pushed out of active awareness. Sleep quality also plays a role. When you are tired, your brain processes information more slowly and holds fewer details in working memory. Stress has a similar effect. High stress levels keep your mind in a reactive mode, which reduces stability in attention. So when people say, "I keep forgetting things," it is often not about memory loss. It is about mental load exceeding available attention capacity. 6. What you can do about it. The good news is that this experience is completely normal and manageable. One of the simplest strategies is slowing down transitions between tasks. When you decide to move to another room, take a brief pause before walking. Another helpful technique is mental repetition. Saying your intention in your mind right before moving helps strengthen the memory. For example, silently thinking, "I'm going to the kitchen for water," increases the chance that the thought stays active. Visualization also helps. If you briefly picture yourself arriving and completing the task, your brain creates a stronger memory link. This makes it easier to retrieve the intention later. Avoiding multitasking during movement also reduces forgetting. If your mind is already juggling multiple thoughts, the chance of losing one increases significantly. Focusing on one intention at a time improves clarity. These techniques are simple but powerful because they work with how your brain naturally organizes information. Forgetting why you walked into a room is not a sign of memory decline or a serious problem. It is a normal result of how your brain manages attention, context, and environment. Your mind constantly divides life into small scenes, and each transition between those scenes can temporarily weaken access to short-term intentions. That is why the thought feels lost for a moment. Once you understand this process, the experience becomes less confusing and less worrying. Instead of seeing it as a failure, you can recognize it as a natural brain function that happens to everyone. Your memory is not breaking down. It is simply switching focus. If this helped you understand your brain better, like, share, and subscribe for more clear and simple explanations of how your mind actually works in daily life.